Hey, if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna jump right into this. Hey, we're gonna wait until after 8 minutes. Just stick around, man, so I can play the video for y'all, man. Hey, I want y'all to really understand what's really going on, man. The way that Offset and Mando G pulled up to J Prince Jr., it goes to show what's really going on and how they trying to cover up the whole situation that happened with Takeoff. So I'm gonna let y'all know one thing. It was 4 people that walked in.
Who am I talking about? Y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all read the title. So it looked like Offset and Duke cousin Mando G pull up to J Prince Jr. crib in H-Town because they really want to see what actually happened with Takeoff and Duke the Jeweler being around J Prince Jr. MobTies affiliates. So the story goes that Duke family, they heard what happened to Takeoff pertaining to a dice game in H-Town. So they automatically connected the dots and said that, hey man, if that happened to Takeoff in H-Town pertaining to a dice game, that's the same thing that happened with Duke in H-Town just 2 months ago. Now, if y'all not familiar with the story, Duke, a jeweler out of Chicago, he was set up in H-Town right after a concert. Now, yes, a lot of people was looking at the footage and the pics floating around of Duke at the dice game with J Prince Jr. and Boosie. And also with that, a lot of people was placing what happened with Duke on Boosie. And Boosie had to be the first one to acknowledge the fact that, hey, I had nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, me and Duke had a conversation about him making me a piece. And I told him I had 10 bands for him if he made me a charm. So Boosie even acknowledges the fact that him and Duke had a conversation. And that conversation was had while Boosie and Duke was walking through the parking structure. Because Boosie stated that his car was parked inside of the parking garage. While Duke, the people that was waiting on him, or the car that was waiting on him, that it was parked outside of the parking structure. So Boosie say that's when him and Duke had split. He went his way and Duke went his. Boosie say it had to be about 30 minutes later. He got a call from somebody from his team that informed him that Duke had been set up. Now even though J Prince Jr. he made no statements about what happened with Duke. Again, Boosie was the first one because Boosie wanted to let the people know. Again, not us, not the fans. Boosie, he wanted to let Duke family know and the Chicago GDs that he really had nothing to do with this whole situation. Before we get into it, as always, let's first pay our respects. As always, let's first pay our respects and say rest in peace to Duke the Jeweler. Condolences to his family and much love to all my folks in Chicago. Same thing goes for Atlanta's own Takeoff. Rest in peace to Takeoff. Condolences to his family and much love to all my folks in the ATL. So again, going back to what happened with Takeoff, once Duke family seen what happened with Takeoff, again, they connected the dots. And right now, Duke family, they still want justice pertaining to what happened to their family member, man. Then you got Takeoff. Now, a lot of people was already thrown off the fact that Takeoff had got set up in H-Town as well, man. Because a lot of people was automatically thinking Takeoff. I mean, who did Takeoff have beef with in order for this to happen? This is what a lot of people was thinking at the time that they heard the news. And then it ended up coming out that somebody that was associated to the Migos is the one who mistakenly shot Takeoff.
I want y'all to really look at that, pay attention to what's going on, and we're gonna jump right into the Sauce Walker situation. They said Sauce Walker, he realized they said that they questioned him about everything that was going on. He came out and said that he could have instantly went out of state. He could have flew out of state. You feel me? Went out the country. Like if he had something to hide. Like at the end of the day, we know for a fact that it's a lot of people who blaming Gunna for what happened, but we all know for a fact that as soon as Gunna got out, then that happened.
Single time I drop a video. Anyways. So the Sauce founder artist YSL No Slime seems to think that Gunna has struck again, but this time the striking has allegedly been against TSF. Pretty much, talking about the news was posted that, there were 14 people allegedly from TSF that actually got, caught up in the Rico web, or just, some of the members got caught up in the Rico web. Then, YSL No Slime. Oh, man, my nose. It's splat YSL No Slime.
the Teeth Brigade is finna get.
At YSL No Slime took to Instagram and pretty much responded, wrote under the message, somebody saying that the Rico actually went out with 14 people, and YSL No Slime said Gunna told on us with an emoji there. And then of course somebody else from TSF 44 Mike Deezy had to come out and let everybody know that the Sauce Father, Sauce Walka don't got a case. It's just a few of the members in there, and then of course another Sauce Walka member,
And that goes to show that it was too many people who played a role in this, man. And I want to jump to the Jay Prince Jr. situation because, as we all know, Jay Prince Jr., he came back to Houston. We know this. Everybody know it. This is one thing. Why they ain't book him? They didn't book Jay Prince Jr. for one thing because everybody protected Jay Prince Jr. and said that he wasn't the one who was standing by the shooter. Like, if he would have literally been standing right by the dude, they would have said that he gave him the signal to instantly send Takeoff up. Like, I want y'all to really look at that. And look him, he locked up right now. He hurt right now, y'all. People don't really look at this man and want to take heed to what's really going on, but we all know actual reality. Takeoff was one of the people who set up the Migos. He set the Migos up to get the bag. Like, I want y'all to really look at that. It's people out here who think Quavo was just the innocent one. He didn't want to speak up and say nothing to the feds for one reason, because he knew what that would bring. He knew he already checked in. He knew that Jay Prince Jr. then wasn't gonna let him go back on what he already did, man. Like, in Houston, it worked a whole different way. People don't know this, man, and people feel that everybody in Houston, they had to check in before they was able to even real life go out there and be able to even stand next to Jay Prince. It's too many people in their camp who sitting back, even Buddy, who was with Lil Cam when he did that, man. Dude who was driving the car when Lil Cam got caught. People sitting back looking at it like, hold on. These the main ones who played a big role in this, man. Why they not locked up? They not locked up because they already paid them. Jay Prince Jr., he paid Shorty to realize keep his mouth closed, because if he would have opened his mouth, Shorty would have gave up everything and told him what really happened. I want y'all to really pay attention to this, man. And we all can really take heed, take notes on this whole situation, because people don't know. At this point, people don't know if Jay Prince Jr. is going to get booked for it. You see what I'm saying? People don't know this, man. So we got to sit back and really pay attention to what's going on, man, and realize Takeoff, boy, he had the whole movement going. At the end of the day, we know that it's too many people who with them who realize set that man up, boy.
Hard place, meaning that a situation he never found himself being a part of, especially pertaining to an upper echelon rapper by the name of Takeoff. Come on, man. Before we get into it, as always, let's first pay our respects. You understand? But because they get one screenshot, one picture shot of Shakira Stevenson standing next to Takeoff, they think that he know the reason why somebody will up the blicky on Takeoff. He don't know that. He just went to that function to enjoy himself just like everybody else. Like Takeoff, going back 4 months ago with Duke the Jeweler, when he was invited out to Houston, he was just going to enjoy himself.
They invited him out there.
Fast forward, we have Shakira Stevenson, a professional boxer, somebody who worked their way up out the mud to become who they are. And now look, it's just all messed up for folks out here, man. So that's the reason why there's a lot of people in Houston, they checking Jay Prince Jr. and his MobTies affiliates, man. Because like I keep telling you guys, what's happening to very successful black men hanging around Jay Prince Jr. and his MobTies guys? Come on, man. We got to do better as a people. And that's real talk. Because somebody who worked their way up out the mud is not trying to start back from ground zero, man. Because y'all got to understand how that makes him look. Yeah, I'm talking about Shakir Stevenson. That could limit the amount of ticket sales that he's able to bring in. I told y'all what's happening with Finesse 2 Times. Folks is not even able to do shows in different parts of the ATL.
So that
I'm
means
telling
he
y'all, at the
can't make
same
no
time,
money
There's a
though.
lot of people in the ATL who got love for Finesse 2 Times. Again, because of his association to J. Prince Jr., it's limiting his mobility to make money out there. Yeah, even with that, because Shakir Stevenson hopped back in the whip with DJ Pat doesn't mean anything. He only hopped back in the car with the person that he came with. That's what we all do. Because y'all seen that J. Prince Jr., hey man, he walked right past Takeoff body. He didn't even care to stay there. That was a private event that he had put together. So how you gonna be the first person that's leaving out when you the one that put together the function, man? So once Stevenson heard the shots ring, he gonna do whatever he need to do to get up out that building and make it back home safe. And that's what he did. So if he rolled to the function with DJ Pat, that's the first person he gonna look for as far as getting back home. Yes, he could have hopped in with Jazz or J. Prince Jr., but they was already gone. They was out of there ASAP. They didn't care about Shakir Stevenson, so he did what he needed to do. But based on DJ Pat, if DJ Pat did delete Takeoff, that has nothing to do with Shakir. Yeah, that's his homeboy. And again, they're gonna bring him in for questioning just to see if DJ Pat will have the motive to do something like this. Because right now, DJ Pat, he telling them people he ain't do it, and that they need to look at Migo Benz and Lil Cam. Because DJ Pat is basically saying there was no reason for him to up a blicky because he didn't have a back and forth with nobody. But we all know that. Migo Benz, he was Quavo in Takeoff protection. And Lil Cam, they say Lil Cam, he was protecting J. Prince Jr. So basically when Quavo and J. Prince Jr. had a back and forth, and they guys who had the heat on them, they came to see what the issue was. That's when y'all seen the pictures and the footage of Migo Benz. He was coming from about 30 feet away. He wasn't even standing next to Quavo and J. Prince Jr. when they had a disagreement. This is what the people who was there saying. And at the same time, they saying, hey, look at the footage. You guys can see. And the only thing people keep referring to is Migo Benz is really the only one being shown with the heater. But yeah, just like folks were saying, this is all messed up for Shakir Stevenson because he don't deserve this, man. Just like Takeoff didn't deserve it and Duke the Jeweler. I told y'all, man, Duke family, they gonna keep pressing the issue, man. Reason being because they don't see the same push as far as getting the person who blicky down to send up with the jeweler, like we doing for Takeoff. Again, they not trying to make no comparison because they understand that, you know what I'm saying, people got to get talked to. Talking to the right people that's not paid off. Because we all know Jay Prince, the Pops, he got some of those people in his back pocket. So with Duke, his family is trying to understand, hey, why no arrest like that has occurred? And dealing with that, what's up with the jury? Like I keep telling y'all, man. And I'm going to keep pressing the issue. Because just like Duke family want justice, it's a bunch of other people who's affiliated to Duke. They want justice as well, man. So again, going back to my brother, Shakir Stevenson. Hey, man, what the Pops, Jay Prince is saying, yeah, Shakir, he need to tell everything that happened. If he seen DJ Pat up a blicky, he need to let it be known. Because again, he has a whole career at stake. See, these situations right here, dealing with J. Prince Jr. and his mob ties, is causing a disturbing domino effect that a lot of people who are from Houston, they don't agree with. It's different when you get it out the mud based on somebody getting a red carpet treatment. And we all know that J. Prince Jr., he got a red carpet treatment. Shakir Stevenson, the Migos, Quavo, Offset, Takeoff, they had to get it out the mud. You feel what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm bringing that up, because when these guys step out, it's for a reason. Because they don't get out too much, and there's not too many people that they trust when they do go out. Feel what I'm saying? So if they are invited, they're going to make sure they have the time of their life. You understand? Around the people who believe values their life just like they value their own. So at the same time, I try to let you guys know, everybody who is invited to that private event, they're going to be questioned. Does not mean they're a person of interest. It's just that they need to get the whole story so they can understand the people who they can bring in and the people they can alleviate. And even with that, with Jay Prince informing Shakir Stevenson to let it be known based on what happened at the private event, and Jay Prince trying to control the narrative so it don't seem like his son Jay Prince Jr. is involved in a lot of mindless activity. Because the people were seeing what Young Chop was talking about, 6ix9ine, and a couple other people who had beef with Jay Prince Jr. in the past. That he
And everybody notice, man, we sit back and we look at this from a whole different perspective when we can really take heed to what's going on, man. You got to really take life serious when it comes down to certain situations and certain circumstances. There's a lot of people out here, you'll be hanging with them for years and they'll instantly try to get you knocked off or sent up. Hey, I want y'all to really look at this. A person want to be in your spot. If they keep on admiring you and telling you, oh yeah, you doing this, you doing that, they want to be in your spot, man. Because why they care so much? At the end of the day, we know this.
You know what I'm saying? And right after that, Lil Cam Fifth get arrested. Now, the people saying Lil Cam Fifth, he didn't get arrested based on what happened with Takeoff. That he got arrested pertaining to a Blicky case that he had in a whole nother state. But I'm here to tell y'all, yes, he did. Lil Cam Fifth did get arrested based on what happened with Takeoff. And the people saying that he got arrested based on a whole nother case that he had out of state, that's the underlay for the overplay, man. And y'all know this because Lil Cam Fifth, he did get arrested pertaining to what happened with Takeoff. Because if that wasn't the case, his representation would have stated that whatever the people need to know about what happened with Takeoff at the private event, then they will be available to provide them with any information that they need to help solve the case. Now, y'all mean to tell me if Lil Cam Fifth didn't know nothing about what happened with Takeoff or the other two people who were shot at the private event?
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Hey, folks, go ahead, finish talking.
Representation wouldn't even put it out there. You understand? He wouldn't even let the people know that his client had some information based around what happened with Takeoff and the other two people that were shot. Now, at the same time, them people even have questions for Lil Cam about what happened with Duke the Jeweler in H-Town. And if he knows anything or anyone who would have the motive to set up a jeweler out of Chicago. And with that, if he knew of some major jewelry purchases going down based on someone trying to get off Duke jewelry for wholesale. Like I told y'all before, man, the Pops is paying off those people because he knows his son's MobTies affiliates allegedly set up Duke after the concert and made it seem like it was all Boosie. But before we get into it, as always, let's first pay our respects and say rest in peace to Takeoff, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in the ATL. Quavo, Offset, Lingo, y'all stay up out there, my guys. That's real talk, man. Same thing goes for Chicago's own Duke the Jeweler. Rest in peace to Duke the Jeweler, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in Chicago, man. I told y'all, hey, they families want answers ASAP, not just from HPD, from Jay Prince and his son's MobTies affiliates, because they know their family was invited out to H-Town to check in. And not only check in, they will have the proper security and the proper people on deck to make sure that they cool, to make sure that their safety and protection is first. But yeah, man, like I told y'all, it seemed like Duke and Takeoff, they got the opposite. Even the people who were invited out, again, y'all got to understand, that was Jay Prince Jr. invitation list that he sent out. So at the same time, not only does he have to apologize for Duke the Jeweler and Takeoff, he also have to apologize for what happened with the other two people. One in critical and the other one got sent up right along with Takeoff. Now, Lil Cam, he informed them people he knew nothing about Duke the Jeweler, even though there's pics floating around social media of Jay Prince Jr., Lil Cam, and Duke hanging out. Was the same time that Boosie did a walkthrough at a club out there in Houston because Jay Prince Jr. finessed 2 times, Duke and Lil Cam was right along with them guys. So after Lil Cam told them he knew nothing about Duke the Jeweler, he instantly told them people about DJ Pat and him having a blicky inside the private event. Even with them catching DJ Pat, the folks still want to know, how did them people know where DJ Pat was at? I mean, how did they really know that DJ Pat was on his way to Mexico? Now, Lil Cam Fifth, he wouldn't knew that. But the fact is, I do keep hearing Jay Prince, he has close ties with those people. And y'all already know the people I'm talking about, man. That's the reason why his sons is not getting arrested or they not getting looked into, especially if they the ones that's planning these events. They supposed to be the first people of interest and brought in for questioning. Yes, they were brought in for questioning, but they were not the first people of interest. Because like I told y'all, man, because how much negative attention is coming their way, the Pops is doing everything in his power to try to steer the narrative that their sons had nothing to do with it. But it's the people that's affiliated with them. Yeah, he could say all that, but the people still gonna look at the MobTies as Jay Prince Jr. and his brother Jazz, not all these other individuals. You understand? If the people that's associated with you get into any type of BS, it's going to automatically go to you. That the people going to blame you for any wrongdoing that come from your camp. But again, like I stated before, man, that's the narrative that the Pops is trying to control right now. So right now, DJ Pat is telling them people he innocent. He had nothing to do with Takeoff untimely demise because he wasn't even near Takeoff. He said he was on the other side of the room. And at the same time, they need to be paying attention to Migo Benz and Lil Cam. Now, folks ain't only talking about what happened with Takeoff. You have two other people that were hit, one in critical condition, and the other one got sent up the same day with Takeoff. And they families want answers from HPD pertaining to what happened and who did it. And we can even go back to Chicago's own Duke the Jeweler. His family is pressing the issue on why no major arrest has occurred based around Duke being set up in Houston, and at the same time, have they tracked down the $1 million worth of missing jewelry. But let's go back. This video was based on Quavo shooter Migo Benz being arrested and extradited back to Houston to see what he knows pertaining to Takeoff untimely demise. And at the same time, what was Migo Benz's intent on upping his plea? And if he feels he's not guilty or wrong by doing his job, and that was to protect Quavo and Takeoff, then why go into hiding? My opinion is the only reason why Migo Benz went into hiding because the people had automatically placed him as being guilty. So he was scared. And the best thing to do is to hide out because he don't want a bunch of people going after him and his family if it really had nothing to do with it. But it still points back to the fact that J. Prince Jr. and his MobTies affiliates, they got some explaining to do. And that's real. Yeah, plus I know y'all heard they saying that J. Prince Jr. and Trey Songz, they got into a little scuffle. Yeah, man, I know it happened a couple months ago, but it's just showing all the different activities that J. Prince Jr. be involved in that he got no reason to. And with that, they saying Trey Songz put a two-piece comp.
Hey, I want to let y'all know, hey, free all the guys, man. Free everybody that's booked, man, right now. And they know for a fact that they innocent, man. We all know that everybody who played a role in this, man, they sitting back looking at this like real life, like they could have got up out of it. No, man, when you're moving wrong, certain stuff happen, man. You got to really take heed to what's going on and hit the like button.